Everyone, welcome to the latest edition of the Cash Flow Chronicles Open Forum. Scott and I have a great friend of ours, Dave Gremaud, here with Era Group. Hi, Dave.
Hi, how are you, Matt?
Great to have you here, man.
Great to be here.
So I wanted to kind of briefly discuss what Dave does with Era Group, and I'd love you to touch base a little bit about your specialty, your experience, and kind of some of the great things you're doing.
Yeah. Well, really over the last 20 years, I've been specializing in cost recovery. A lot of automotive clients doing direct material pricing audits and different things to look for, lost profits. And now at Era Group, we're doing similar things, but we're looking at a go-forward basis as far as cash flow improvement and process optimization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing that's really important in the theme of this whole series is cash flow, because obviously cash is king. So cliche, right. I say it every time, especially right now. Liquidity is vital to the operation of a business with uncertainty. I'm sure that's something, Scott, you can speak to from a banking standpoint, right?
Absolutely. And I know that Matt and I always talk about cash is king in each one of these sessions that we've been doing together, but it really is critical. And it sounds like your past experience doing audits, Dave, has set you up for really a lot of success with what you're going to be doing to try to go into companies and find ways to help save them money.
Yeah, I mean, really the whole premise when we're starting, discussions with, our prospects and clients is just really understanding what's important to them, right? What key economic or business challenges they're facing, what preparations, they've been doing, or what are the goals they want to accomplish, in the near term future. And so that's really where we come in. It's just more of a trusted advisor type of an approach. Just have a conversation and just understand really what they want and see if there's a fit in the solutions that we can provide to have that kind of relationship with our clients.
Yeah, and having gotten to know you recently, I can tell that that's definitely the way you structure your operations. How can I help? And that's the biggest thing, operating with integrity. That's something I think is pretty critical for individuals you work with. So if I can't help, at least I'm a solution in the future. I guess one question I have with expense reduction, it seems like sometimes there's a misnomer of unhappiness and cutting things that some people view as critical. Is that ever anything you come across in your experience?
Yeah, we do. I mean, just like any other service or, a consultant comes in and, we're the experts. It's no different. So when we're having discussions, obviously one of the objections that we frequently hear is, my team's doing a great job and things are great, things are tidy, and that's fine. I mean that's a great outcome, right? We don't mind hearing that, and we're hoping operations are great. The great thing about Era Group and the services we provide is we come in, it's risk-free, we do an assessment, and we can share very early on, even before becoming a client, some really good insights into their spend, into their supplier mix, different things, and we can identify pretty surely if we can possibly save them money in a variety of different categories.
Dave, the fact that you set your business up on a risk-free basis, I think is pretty extraordinary, right? So most companies wouldn't be doing that unless they have a very high degree of confidence that they're going to be able to find something. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I think our business model, it's not unique by any sense as far as the services. We work on a shared savings fee structure, first of all, right? So if we don't find savings, there's no fees at all for our services. Even the assessment work that we're doing up front, pretty much just a certification by a third party saying that, hey, you guys are doing best in class and there's really no savings here. And that's a great win for, our clients. On the other hand, we have, some savings that are identified, and then we can help them throughout the entire process. I look at it and kind of call it unconventional consulting, because we're not going to provide our clients a report at the end of our project, showing them some recommendations, or here you got some control weaknesses, here's some opportunities for improvement. We actually help all the way through implementation, post-implementation with monitoring. All those things are really critical to the long-term success of our clients. So it's not just the immediate cash savings that they get in month 1, 2, 3, but how are you performing? Are your suppliers coming back, 6 months later with price increases or whatever the case may be? We're there to monitor and help negotiate. We really manage the entire process.
Yeah, I think that's really important, vital with my company as well and what we do. It's really just being a partner to help make things more efficient, because both of our company's scope is so much more broad than internal processes. And I know Scott can keep to that too with his role as far as having a trusted advisor to really add value from that standpoint, or depth of networks. So, So I suppose many companies view that they have their expenses under control, because obviously isn't that the vital role of any financial leader, to have my expenses under control?
Yep.
Looking at a closer look, how do you typically uncover a business? Any common challenge that you come across that most companies struggle with?
Well, it's really specific to the industry, the specific business itself. So we don't have a cookie cutter type of solution, right? It's going to be customized, tailored to our clients' needs and current situation. So, but yes, there's certainly common places where these hidden costs are that we uncover. I can just share globally, because we are a global consultancy, that insurance is a big is really our largest category, and that goes health insurance and business, property, casual, workers' comp, all of it. And we do really great work in that space. Also, manufacturing, healthcare are two of our largest industries, so we do a lot of work with medical practices and hospitals and long-term care types of places, as well as great work with manufacturers that are there's a lot of moving parts. It's complex business, but packaging, freight, logistics, all those things, factory consumables. We really have great in-house expertise that drive awesome value.
Dave, you just outlined several different categories and industries that you spend a lot of time within, and some categories where you very often find ability to help the client save money. Looking at it conversely, are there just industries that normally aren't a good fit for expense reduction analyst?
Yeah, we do find, private education is a big one. So universities, colleges, as you guys well know, tuition, has been skyrocketing, averaging 8% or so over the last 10, 20 years. But tuition, what am I thinking of? The student enrollment, thank you. Enrollment is dropping. So, you have all these schools that are really struggling to be profitable. So we do a lot of work in that space. Where we really don't see a lot of our business is in the public sector. So government, we do some smaller municipalities or things of that nature. We certainly can do the work, but that's not really our specialty. Sure. But almost every other industry.
Okay.
And I do know Era Group does have your SMEs relative to industries as well within your depth of resources. And so I'm sure within those specialists, that's kind of a big area I know you guys have within your scope too, correct?
Yeah, and I think that's another differentiator for our firm specifically, is when we come in, our internal network is all based on folks that come in from the corporate world, right? They have decades of experience in whatever cost categories they specialize in. So we can really lean on them. They're ex-CFOs, CEOs, business owners. They really bring a wealth of knowledge into whatever category we're helping our clients with. So really there is a particular expert or experts, multiple, for each of the 50 plus cost categories that we specialize in. So when I was mentioning insurance, we have a half a dozen at least practices that specialize in insurance. Some may be more specialized in healthcare and health insurance, or other business insurance, those kinds of things. So we can really lean and identify what partners are going to be best for specific industries or specific categories.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing I was impressed with Air Group as far as those industry expertises you have. So I guess really lots of talk right now relative to a potential recession, and everyone trying to hold on to their cash flow as best possible because we're going to hold off making decisions due to uncertainty. Mm-hmm. What's your recommendation to financial leaders in this type of time right now? Obviously, given that your model as far as if we don't save costs,
right,
you're not going to pay anything relative to other than just talking to you.
Yeah, yeah, certainly that would be great. Yeah, you bring up a great point, and I think our business specifically, or maybe one of the major recommendations I would make is don't wait for a recession, don't wait for a downturn in the economy. There's no better time than the present to pay less for the services and products you already buy, right? And that's really the key. Where we really thrive and provide the most value to our clients is identifying where those hidden costs and savings are, and then quickly implementing those with their team support, help. We can help with best practices. We can help with process improvement recommendations and a whole slew of other things. So why wait, right? There's just, I think, time, value, money, everything else. There's no better time than the present. Have us take a look, and if we can't find anything, it's value. If we do find something, then obviously reinvest or whatever you want to do with those funds. The clients benefit that way too.
Yeah, I think that's critical. The biggest advocate right now, just don't hold on to your cash, or at least just talk to experts that know what they're talking about, at least learn about the resources that are available before it's too late. I think there's so many times I can speak, hey, I need trade credit insurance. I'm like, well, this takes time. I can't do it in a day.
Right.
And I think that's pretty important. So being proactive versus reactive, 100%.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. So next question I have is AI. We talked recession as far as buzzwords, now we're talking about AI. Yeah. What are some of the things you're utilizing, or just kind of what you're seeing out in the marketplace?
Yeah, I mean, our client, first things, it can't be denied, can't be ignored, right? I mean, AI is here, and it's here to stay, and only gonna be improved and integrated into every system, every other facet of our business. I think it's still new. We're still trying to figure out how best to utilize it, and where manpower versus machine is really optimal. And I don't think there's one or the other. I think in conjunction, working together, there's things, manual processes, financial close. I can name a bunch that you can automate, and that's a great use of funds, investment for companies. But on the back end, for testing, for validations, for every other thing, you still need those humans to do those validations, right? Or at least for a period of time until you feel comfortable enough that everything's working correctly. So I guess from that standpoint, I mean, we do utilize, I wouldn't necessarily say AI, but we do use tools to help with our analysis and identify savings techniques and solutions. So we're certainly probably at the beginning stages of really implementing a lot of those different opportunities, but certainly our clients are, I mean, that's one of the key top of mind topics right now is really, Gen AI and how to utilize and integrate it into their business operations.
I know I just saw a news article that Mark Cuban, relatively outspoken, said, if you don't know AI, you're behind the curve even as a high schooler.
Yeah.
So I mentor some kids, as mentioned. and one of the kids, he has to do a joke every day. A student, he just types in chat GPT, give me a joke of the day. It actually has some pretty good dad jokes. So I can't remember what it said. It was about trees. Can pull it up, but it was a pretty good one. And I'm like, Vlad, that was, told all the mentors, I'm like, that was a pretty good one. So chat GPT gave a pretty good joke. I think it's vital that we use AI, and I think there's still apprehension to it to some extent, but it's all about process improvement.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a learning curve. I use myself as an example. You know, I don't utilize it as much as I should. You know, I'm kind of I'm not an introducer of that technology, but I certainly understand the value and the time savings, efficiencies, you know, and obviously in certain situations, it's vastly improving what we can, you know, do ourselves in other areas. So, yeah.
And I still think having an expert that has the emotions and the communication skills and authenticity like you that can manage different nuances is something that AI can never replace. I can speak to Scott as well. Just, hey, here's things you got to watch out for, things like that.
Yep.
So I appreciate the time, Dave. Before we wrap up, any key takeaways you want our viewers to watch out for or just keep in mind relative to moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things, but I guess one takeaway would just be, you know, I mean, there's timing is really on our side. So it's better to act proactively than to wait for, you know, the realization that you're absolutely losing profits or there's areas of your business that could be optimized. You know, and I think for, you know, selfishly with Era Group, you know, we do a great job working with our clients. I think building a partnership and understanding that there's a real win-win opportunity here for our clients, where you really have two outcomes. And the primary reason that they utilize us in the first place is lack of time, lack of resources, or lack of expertise. Well, we can help, right? As an extension of their team, we can come in and do some real complex analysis, provide the data, show the information, and let them make the decisions. So if we can find savings, that's obviously a great outcome. If we don't find savings, that's another great outcome to have an objective opinion and validation that you're doing the best job you can in that area. So, that's the biggest takeaway.
Yeah, kind of like an audit. Hey, we just want to audit our processes. Can we do anything differently with a third party to come in and, hey, you're doing things great, but what percentage of time would you say is that a reality?
What part? I'm sorry.
As far as, hey, you're doing things great, we can't make any improvements.
Well, I'd say about 10% of the projects would result in where we can't really implement, I'll say, a substantive, savings option, right? There could be, a very minimal savings, but those are things that we kind of give away for free to our clients of, implementing this or using a little different strategy here and there can, do some things. So it's not always a perfect fit for us to engage with our prospects as clients. Most of the time we, newer clients, we're working with them on multiple projects and multiple categories. So, and that's one of the benefits is really don't come in and just do one, right? Because there might not be savings or there might not be the desired outcome on one project. So we typically will have multiple. And so if you don't find savings in one, but maybe you find, reasonable or even higher savings in one or two other categories, right? But at the end, we almost always can find savings.
Cool.
Yeah.
If people want to reach out to you as far as to start a conversation, do you just want them to message you or do you have any best practices to start that first engagement?
Yeah, I'm certainly present and try to be as, visible on LinkedIn is a great source. Our website has a lot of great information, airgroup.com. And certainly my phone number and email address are also available online. LinkedIn. So yeah, please contact me, free consultation. Be happy to talk and see if it's a good fit.
Yeah, no commitment for a conversation, which is great. So So, and I think from Scott's standpoint, as a long-established banker, anything else to add from your standpoint?
I love the comment about being proactive and that there's really no wrong time to introduce your services, right? Because it's true win-win. There's really nothing at risk, and there's really only something to gain, which is, hey, perhaps we're doing everything right.
Right.
I love the approach.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, Scott.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and I think that's all we have. Feel free to reach out to any of us if we can add value. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.